President Trump is in Beijing. Tomorrow morning, local time, he begins his meetings with Xi Jinping. Okay, now, America's Newsroom co-host Bill Hemmer, he's there as well. Come on in, Bill. Trump says trade, not Iran, will be the focus. We've been negotiating a trade deal with China for about a year, and Trump's taking a load of executives with him. Trade could be the big news here. What say you?
It could very well be. You know, Stuart, the first time they ever had a summit here in Beijing with Trump and Xi was November of 2017. And the big headline that came out of that was some $250 billion in trade deals. A lot of them came through. Some of them didn't because they were non-binding. But my sense is by the end of the week, you probably get some news on Boeing. That's the word anyway. You probably get some news on trade. I don't know if and how we move the ball on the Iran war. I think that's a bit of a wild card. I don't know if they strike some sort of deal on artificial intelligence. I think that's a bit of a wild card, too. I think overall, Stuart, this is the first of what will be 4 meetings between these two men face-to-face this year in 2026, which will include, we are told, a White House visit at some point in the second half of 2026.
Okay.
Yet to be announced, of course.
Let me throw one more wild card in here. As you may know, Jensen Huang, the CEO of Nvidia, he got on Air Force One last minute in Alaska last night. There is speculation that Nvidia's chips, top of the line, best in the world, those chips will be a bargaining chip with China. China wants them. Nvidia wants to sell them to him. Maybe Mr. Trump could do a deal like that. What do you think?
Yeah, my guess is, I mean, you could be onto something, Stuart. You know, there's been a lot of hesitation in the tech sector. Go ahead and do that. And maybe they move forward somewhat on that. I know Huang wants to sell them. But, you know, the U.S. government does not want to give that technology to China. But they could always be imitated here in China once they're stolen or gotten on the black market. Certainly that is possible. I think there's a possibility that some of the lower-level chips could be entered into agreement, but none of that is set in stone right now. I do think it's significant that you point out, though, that he got on a plane in Alaska. Yeah. That tells me that Jensen Huang, in all likelihood, I think was probably in California and flew north to meet there. And there was some talk earlier in the week that Huang wasn't on the invite list.
Right.
And regardless, that rumor notwithstanding, as we say, Stuart, the president put that to rest in a truth posting saying that he's welcome to come anytime. Yeah. He came down the plane, one of the last, along with Elon Musk. Yep. I think a pretty strong sign, Stuart, that
I'm telling you,
this administration means business on trade. We'll see what they get.
It would be an interesting wild card. Then there's this, Bill. The New York Times claims this meeting comes at a bad time. Both leaders are distracted and bogged down primarily by Iran. You think that's the case? Both bogged down?
Yeah, I know it's going to come up. I say I know I won't be inside the meetings, but you have to think that at least on the side that Iran is going to be a significant topic. We had a guest on America's Newsroom earlier today. He was a former CIA analyst who worked in this part of the world for years. And he said the story is misunderstood. It's his opinion that China does not have the influence over the IRGC in Iran that many people think. And if that's the case, we may not get anywhere on this, Stuart. And come Saturday and Sunday of next week, the focus will move away from Beijing and China after the summit and right back to what's happening with the war in Iran in the Middle East.
Well, Xi Jinping reportedly plans to pressure President Trump on arms sales to Taiwan. If the president gave some leeway on arms to Taiwan, what would China give us? That's my question.
Well, there's a $14 billion deal on the table. It has not been signed on the dotted line by this administration. My guess is there could be movement on that after the president leaves here. Taiwan, they will tell you on the American side, Taiwan always comes up in the conversations with the Chinese. I imagine that'll be the case on this trip, too.
Sure. One last one, Bill. What about fentanyl? Yes. The Chinese are supposed to be moving towards getting rid of the precursor chemicals that are used to make fentanyl. Maybe that will continue. But if President Trump wanted to just cut it out completely, that would be something which China could actually do. They could stop the export of these precursors. That could be a win.
It would be a remarkable, yeah, it certainly would. And I don't know where we are on Friday night, Stuart. I don't know what the headline is just yet. I don't know what the paragraph reads for, you know, what this summit accomplished. That would be a wonderful headline, you know, for, you know, back in the United States, and we'll see if there's movement on that. But it's my sense that this is a relationship summit, and these two men will now meet for the 7th time in their history face-to-face.
It's a big deal. Bill Hemmer, thank you very much for taking time out of a very busy day to be with us, and we appreciate it, Bill. Thanks a lot, man.